So this is local dirt, which is a mixture, as just about everywhere, of sand and clay and gravel and other things. You can see the gravel there and the clayey texture. I've always wanted to make a pot out of this, and so I've tried a few different ways of processing it. This is a bucket full of water where I filtered out a whole bunch of clay, dissolved it, strained out all the rocks, and now I've got the sand out. And it's got a texture like this, which you can see is wonderful and clayey. I also found an area downtown where there's a construction site and the dirt was all clay, so I used that to dig a literal pothole and I hope they don't mind too much, and try experimenting with that clay. Here is a pinch pot that I made, and as you can see, it is dried nicely without cracking. This is essentially my first attempt at pottery. This is a lamp that I made using the same method. It did crack, but I'm experimenting. This is kind of the process. And this is a frying pan, which also cracked as it was drying. As you can see there, the contracting clay, because it shrinks as it dries, cracked it. Still, I'm rather pleased with how that turned out. You can hear that it is essentially solid, which is nice. This one is a little bit different. This one is made out of local clay, completely unprocessed, but mixed with bentonite to give it some plasticity. I didn't know at the time that you only add about 3% bentonite in order to get pots very plastic, and so it shrunk a whole bunch and cracked to pieces. But again, this is part of the education. See this? This is the local dirt, and I'm actually really excited about it. I watched a short documentary recently about making clay pots from local clay, and since clay is basically the most abundant kind of dirt on Earth, I figure I may as well give it a whirl. So, the local dirt is at least mostly clay. You can see that there's stones in it, and there's also some sand and grit, and you see these bits of root. We don't want any of that, we just want the clay. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter it out with this, collect it in here, and then I'm going to dissolve the sand clay mixture in here. And once I get it up to about there, I'll stop. The part that settles out the slowest is going to be the clay, and it'll end up in a layer right here. At least according to theory, we're going to give it a whirl. Dirt soup. Yum. Yeah, I can feel the clay dissolving. It's leaving behind the grit. That is exactly what we want to see. Nice. I might not even have to add grog or So, now I have a bucket full of dirt. Next phase was to let it dry out. This was a very natural process. I just let the sun take care of it, and since it was the summer, it wasn't too much of a problem. Then, once it had gotten to kind of this mushy state, I spread it out and let the sun do even more. With the increased surface area, it got to clay thickness in no time flat. Next up, we'll show you how to make things out of the clay.